It has stood, well known to people that must know it. I must also find my inheritance. I was at an early and tender age, in my primary 6. It was a Sabbath morning. I don't know what my father was up to, yet he was a pastor. He drove his car with me on a Sabbath morning. He said, come with me, we are going to worship from another church. I went with him. He parked alongside the road. He said, come out. And he told me, this piece of land is yours. I have given it to you. Then I said, thank you. Immediately, right away from there, I told him, I don't need it. I will make my own. Then he will tell me, you were such a bad son. I should remind you, I am such a darling son to my father. Inheritance that you have to inherit comes from, and every one of us and every child that is born on earth, God has prepared for him his inheritance. I have lived to see parents giving their children to the devil in search for what their children will inherit. Elder,
yes, sir.
I have said, I have lived to see parents donating their children because they are looking for the inheritance of their children. Let me remind you, inheritance of each one of us comes from God. Let me also remind you again. Now, Kavmaz, tell him that inheritance comes from God. Tell him, he needs to know. The word of God has this to say: every person you see on the surface of the earth, however drunkard he is, however addictive he is, God has gotten a plan for him. It is him to follow that God's plan. The reason as to why you miss God's inheritance, the reason as to why we have missed and come short of God's inheritance is not to follow God's inheritance plan. We always find our own ways, but the Lord has got a better plan for our inheritance. Children, a reward from God. What is a reward? A reward is to give in return. They don't reward someone who has not done anything. Hello? They do not reward someone for doing nothing. It is to give in return, either for good or for evil. It is still a reward. But the better explanation of this word reward, it is positive in nature. They don't reward bad. They don't reward. Tell him, is it sleeping in bars? that it is from